Welcome to Locked and Loaded Sports. It's time to lock in, load up, and win big. If you're serious about sports and love cashing in on solid picks, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's get to work. Every week, we will be focusing on under-the-radar DFS options who offer strong production for their price. It's from smart roster construction tips to our final pick, which will be an ultimate boom or bust tournament play. This breakdown should get you ready to build winning lineups. For our first player to discuss, we are headed to Baltimore, where Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams take on the depleted Ravens defense. Stafford is primed for a solid DFS outing in Week 6 against a battered Baltimore Ravens defense. He's currently top 10 in passer rating, second in the league with 11 passing touchdowns, and ranked number 1 in passing yards with over 1,500 through 5 weeks. Coming off a 389-yard, 3-touchdown performance in a narrow OT loss to the 49ers, Stafford is showing strong chemistry with his elite receiving core, especially Puka Nacua, who just made NFL history with 50-plus receptions in his first 5 games. Baltimore's defense, once a feared unit, is in shambles. In Week 5, they were shredded by C.J. Stroud for 4 touchdowns and a 44-10 blowout loss to the Texans. The Ravens were without Lamar Jackson, Kyle Hamilton, Roquan Smith, Marlon Humphrey, and others, key pieces who remain questionable for Week 6. As well, their team has given up the second most pass yards to opposing quarterbacks through the first 5 weeks of the season. With Baltimore sitting at 1-4 and showing signs of collapse, Stafford at just $6,400 on DraftKings is a high upside value play. If Baltimore's defensive stars miss another week, Stafford could easily return 3 times more on salary. We are getting locked and loaded with Matthew Stafford. Friendly reminder to drop a like or hit us with a comment. We appreciate you. For our next player, we zero in on Sin City, where we are going to roll the dice on Ashton Jenney, who is set up for a sneaky strong Week 6 performance at home against the Tennessee Titans. While his $6,900 salary isn't a bargain, it also won't break your DFS budget, and the matchup value is undeniable. Jenney was one of the only bright spots in the Raiders' 46 blowout loss to the Colts in Week 5, totaling 109 scrimmage yards, 67 rushing, 42 receiving on just 19 touches. Impressively, 84 of those yards came in the first half, before game script and a minor in-game scare limited his second half usage. He stayed in the game, but Raheem Mostert handled garbage time work. Despite the Raiders' offensive struggles, poor O-line play, and Geno Smith's erratic passing, Jenney continues to flash elite burst and vision, validating his high draft pedigree. He now has 100-plus scrimmage yards in back-to-back games, and he's looking more comfortable each week. Now he gets a home matchup against the Titans, who have given up the second most rushing yards in the NFL in 2025. This is a premium RB1 matchup, and Jenney should feast, especially if Vegas can stay competitive early. Even with a solid roll and upside, Jenney's ownership should stay moderate due to his team context and price tag. That makes him a great GPP pivot in a spot where he could smash value. We are getting locked and loaded with Ashton Jenney. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It's free. Our next player we are recommending might surprise some DFS players, but the move this week is Ted McMillan at $6,000, a price tag that might seem steep on the surface, especially with a season high of just 13.3 DK points last week versus Miami. But this rookie wide receiver one is due, and Week 6 could finally be the breakout. McMillan caught 6 of 8 targets for 73 yards in Week 5, because leading the Panthers with a 27% target share, and it was his 3rd game this season with 60-plus yards and his 5th straight with a steady floor. Bryce Young clearly trusts him, and the chemistry is real. The real kicker? He gets a home matchup versus a Cowboys secondary that has been roasted all season. Dallas has now allowed the most passing yards in the NFL, and they continue to get exposed by top wide receivers week after week. If there's ever a spot for T-Mac to hit paid dirt, this is it. Considering he hasn't had a breakout week, his ownership should be relatively low, which you should know is perfect for large tournaments. The Panthers' offense may not be explosive, but that's actually helping McMillan's volume. With Young forced to throw in the game likely to feature a negative script, opportunity is king, and T-Mac's getting it consistently. We are getting locked and loaded with Ted McMillan. Please check us out on Instagram. There's a link down below in the description. And for our tight end selection of Week 6, we could name other higher-priced players, but we're digging deeper to unlock salary for premium plays elsewhere. And David Njoku at just $3,500 on DraftKings is exactly the kind of value we're targeting in Week 6. Njoku's coming off his best game of the season, catching 6 of 9 targets for 67 yards and a touchdown in the Browns' Week 5 loss to the Vikings. The biggest storyline, the switch to rookie QB Dillon Gabriel, who immediately locked onto Njoku as his go-to target. Njoku posted season highs across the board, commanding a massive 27% target share, clearly benefiting from Gabriel's preference for short, high-percentage throws. With Gabriel still under center in Week 6, Njoku should once again be a featured piece in the Browns' offense, especially against the Steelers' defense that has struggled against tight ends and continues to give up chunk plays in the middle of the field. This isn't a fluke, it is a trend forming. Gabriel is still adjusting to the speed of NFL defenses and leaning on his security blankets, tight ends, and backs. That means Nayoku's role is locked in and his upside at this price is hard to ignore. We are getting locked and loaded with David Nayoku. As we mentioned in the beginning of our video, we are going to focus our last recommendation on a super value play that could boom or bust, but will ultimately give you major flexibility when it comes to roster construction on DraftKings. And for the first time this season, we are going to zero in on a tight end as our boom or bust play to open up salary on your DraftKings roster. Terrence Ferguson at $2,500 is one of the most intriguing low-priced options on the slate. Ferguson was active for the first time in 3 games in Week 5 and made the most of it, turning his only target into a 21-yard gain that set up a Rams touchdown. He only saw 4 offensive snaps, but with injuries to the Rams' tight end group and growing praise from Sean McVay, Ferguson is in position to earn a larger role in Week 6. He now gets a prime matchup against a banged-up Ravens defense that just gave up 5 catches for 60 yards to Dalton Schultz. While Ferguson isn't in the exact same role, the opportunity is growing, and his second-round draft pedigree suggests he can take advantage quickly if given more snaps. At just $2,500, you only need 7.5 DK points to hit 3 times value, and Ferguson has the speed and upside to do that on 1 or 2 big plays, especially if he gets a red zone look. We are going to use Ferguson to unlock high-priced studs and toss him in a Stafford stack as a leverage play with ceiling appeal. We are getting locked and loaded with Terrence Ferguson. That wraps up another breakdown here on Locked and Loaded Sports. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on the latest sports analysis and betting insights. More picks, more locks, and more action is coming your way. That's all for now. Stay sharp, stay ready, and get locked and loaded.